Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and salutations to the prophets and beloved brothers continue to exhort the sheep in these last days. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect listening in, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom. We're going to jump right into Psalms 20, go through it, and talk about it. Psalm 20 from the top. And Yahweh hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the Most High Power of Jacob defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary, and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings, and accept thy burnt sacrifice. Selah. Grant thee according to thine own heart, and fulfill all thy counsel. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our power we will set up our banners. And Yahweh will fulfill all thy petitions. Now know I that Yahweh saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots, and some in horses. But we will remember the name of Yahweh our power. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Save Yahweh. Let the King hear us when we call. So this is a Psalm of David, a hopeful psalm for us to stay in remembrance and locked into as we continue to journey through this journey to the kingdom, if you will, hopefully, and to awaken the dry bones, the valley of dry bones, the 12 tribes of Israel, and call them back to their first estate in righteousness, to be washed and made whole and clean again, and keeping their garments spotless from the ways of this world, and to stay very focused and prophecy driven, as we can see all things manifest as it was written aforetime, and to be made ready, very watchful and alert. So the title of this epistle is going to be entitled, Keep Your Heads in the Clouds. Keep your heads in the clouds. We were once told in this world to get your head out of the clouds and stay focused on the task at hand. But as we read in Micah 2:10, he says to depart out of the ways of this world, for it is not your rest, right? We are not to be complacent and to be very relaxed in a place where it's going to be totally destroyed, as per what thus saith the Lord has said. But keep your heads up in the clouds, to keep looking up and be very watchful of the things going on around you and what is being said in the scriptures. We're supposed to be measuring the times diligently in itself. So keep your heads in the clouds. That is today's order. Keep your heads in the clouds. We'll go into First Thessalonians, chapter 5, and read verses 1 and 2. And it says, But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Right. Because of the times and seasons, we are very aware of the prophetic things that was written aforetime for us to be watchful for. We are now, we have experienced this spiritual awakening. Some of us who has been gathered here on the cloud to meet each other and to prophetically align with what the word is actually being said. We are warned of the things to come and what to be watchful for. He said there's going to be wars and rumors of war, and famines and pestilence, and all these things that are happening on in the world, for us to now be locked in, to be very watchful of. These are not blessings that are transpiring on the earth, but these are judgments that are going to shaken shaken the foundation of the unfaithful and the ungodly, and ultimately cast them out. So 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Most High Yahweh our power so cometh as a thief in the night. Right, is going to be suddenly, unaware for most people that are not paying attention. Those that are going about their day-to-day, marrying and giving into marriage and doing all these worldly things with their heads down here on the ground, not taking heed of what's going on out in front of them, and geopolitically are going to be caught unaware because they have not let go of this way of living, and they did not redeem the times of mercy that was giving unto them. Right, the prophets of old are now standing on their feet proclaiming judgment, and is lining things up wonderfully and exposing all the things that has been sealed from aforetime for you to gather those wisdoms, those goodly gems, those treasures that we are told to store up. But there are those that have their heads to the ground, so we are keeping our heads up in the clouds, right? We are now not looking at looking towards the things of this world. We don't trust in the chariots and the horses as other men do. They make men their flesh, but we look at the generations of old and see what they have put their trust into, and it was the Most High Yahweh, our power, and building up that faith for the times to come. You know, you want your lanterns lit and burning bright with wisdom, watching all the things take place all around you, you know, and be expecting of those blessings that is said to be poured upon his anointed, right? So these are the things that we are looking up towards. We are not looking for any man to save us or any kind of worldly thing, but we are looking for those blessings and those miracles to be manifest as per what the Most High Yahweh has promised his anointed, and we stand on those promises and we bring them to his remembrance, right? If we read in Psalms 20 is a beautiful psalm. I'll bring it to remembrance real quick because I'm getting excited. Psalms 20. Psalms 20 and verse 3, he says, remember all thy offerings and accept thy burnt sacrifices, Selah. Those that have been continuing in the work, standing stiffly for the name of Yahweh Yahweh Shai, proclaiming judgments and opening up sound prophecy, singing the song so beautifully and in tune, we're now expecting Yahweh Yahweh Shai to accept our burnt offerings, because we have now put off the carnal works, and we are now laboring in the works of former prophets of old, right? To continue to push the message of salvation unto our people, and to establish themselves in a proper mind, a good heart towards the Most High Yahweh, our power, in purity, sincerity, with a contrite heart, letting go of our iniquities and all of our sinful natures, right? We are becoming a new creature in Hamashiach Yahushai. So we're asking the Father to remember all these offerings and accept our burnt sacrifices, for we are a sacrifice unto Yahweh, our power, right? A spotless virgin, clean, fresh, a new vessel that can hold water and wisdom, right? We're jumping back into 1 Thessalonians 5, and he says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Most High Yahweh our power so cometh as a thief in the night. So suddenly, as we are watching prophecy unfold and manifest around us, this digital transformation of all things, this binary, collective, algorithmic ensnare that is going to have a lot of people forfeit their liberty in all things to kneel unto this new beast system and be yoked with the whore, you know, right? We are not to be touched. We are supposed to be crying out to our Father to redeem us, to remember us. Look, Father, I've made myself clean and perfect for you, Father. My heart posture is towards you and no other man. I'm not going to be an adulterous whore like some of our forefathers was that did not make it out of the wilderness, but I am presenting myself as a chaste virgin. Oh, Abba Noah, our power, right? So let's go into 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 2, and we'll go through this. It says, thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushai. Be strong and have grace in our Savior, our salvation, right? He has shown us and giving us the depth and the mysteries of the scriptures to keep us enlightened with knowledge and wisdom, and that pushes out a lot of that anxiety of fear of the unknowing, right? For he's giving us a pathway to look towards and be filled in on the things to come and the things to be hopeful and to look for. That's verse 1. Verse 2 of 2 Timothy chapter 2, it says, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others as well. So now that we are given the secret password, if you will, we are spreading that information amongst those that have the heart posture to want to commit themselves as a perfect sacrifice, and to be able to teach them to hold and house this wisdom, right? The things that was written aforetime to the prophets of old are now being passed down to the seed line generation of the sons of the prophets to now go and wake up the other prophets, to seal the elect. Verse 3, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahushai. Some of us have experienced some trying things that may or could have broken us if we didn't have that seal of the Ruach HaKodesh working within us, giving us that comfort. He says, I will send you a comforter, right? And this is a 1,000,000% fact that if you are being dealt with and chastised as a son from his father, a loving father would want to chastise his son if he was going off, so that way he is made ready and enduring all things like a good soldier. You will be stripped of the things that you thought that were going to comfort you and have purpose in. You are going to be separated from those that are not holy. You are going to go through all these things to be refined as the fine gold of Ophir. For those of you who do not have this understanding and is just waking up out of your deep slumber, this is not a message to cause you to be filled with anxiety and or fear, but now you are being abreast and given the download of some of the things that you may or may not experience, because the purposes of refinement is to separate you and to cleanse you. It's a sanctification process, a purification process. If we read in the times of Exodus, when our forefathers were told not to come near the women for 3 days, it is to make you that chaste virgin and keep your eyes single on the most important things, and that is the things to come. If your vision is split in any worldly thing, you're going to miss the mark. You're not going to be 100% lit and on fire, staying focused on the things we're supposed to be focused on. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 4. No man, the point, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. Now, you can either fall out of the truth and submit yourself to the worldly things that it has to offer for a limited time, or you can look past all these non-profitable gifts from the beast and what he has to offer, but wait patiently for the things to come. And that is going to come with a lot of spiritual warfare, right? A lot of spiritual warfare, because it is the chief desire of our adversary to ensnare the elect of the Most High Yahweh our power. It's his. He don't have to worry about those that are drawn unto all the peasant-like entertainment, but those that are looking forward a righteous kingdom. Verse 5. And if any man also strive for the masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. There's no cheat code. There's no back door for you to enter in. There's only one way to enter into striving for the masteries. And you have to diligently seek the Most High Yahweh our power, and have a contrite and sincere heart to be filled with the wisdom and use it masterfully. If you have a hidden agenda, he already knows about it. You're going to be used for a different purpose other than redemption and salvation, but destruction. And if any man also strive for the masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. You must believe in what you're doing, right? So before you head out to work and doing this work in ministry and teaching and all those things that you feel that you are being called to, you first must be a partaker of the fruits, right? So now you taste it, you like what you're tasting, what you're ingesting, what you're hearing, and what you're seeing, because now your spirit resonates with that spirit of what you're being taught. And then you go out and do the labor. No one starts to do the labor and not have a taste of what could possibly be a reward in their lot, right? Consider what I say, and Yahweh give thee understanding in all things. He says to consider these things. You're not going to be doused with full 100% wisdom right away. You have to show yourself approved and diligently seek out the deeper mysteries and be taught these things, to retain them, to be able to produce the fruits that is required for you to be established in righteousness. Consider what I say, and Yahweh give thee understanding in all things. If something doesn't make sense to you right away, hold on to the seed, put it on the shelf, and may he grant you understanding in due season to water that seed for you. Remember that Yahushua of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel. Our Messiah, our chief priest, started in a very low state. He came into the world as a poor servant and to serve his brethren according to the election, to fulfill all things, so we may have a blueprint of how to walk in those same footprints that our Messiah. He gave us the lowdown on how to do all things perfectly from beginning to end. And all things are possible through Hamashiach Yahushua, who strengthens us. Verse 9, wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer. Now, when you separate yourselves from the world, according to scripture, this does not mean go find a hidey hole, but you're separating yourselves because now you're putting on a different mind state, a righteous heart. Right? You're saying, I'm not going to act that way. I'm not going to do the old things. I'm not going to go smoke that. I'm not going to drink that. I'm not going to go touch that. You're now being washed and separated and cleansed. And when you do that, you are now becoming something of a spectacle in the environment. You are now absolutely looking like an outcast. You don't fit in. You think you're more righteous than other people and all these other things. You know, you're going to be tossed all kinds of fiery darts, but you have to stand on your square and believe in what you are being taught and what you are chosen to endure, right? It doesn't matter because you don't want to reflect what's on the outside. Everyone walking around with their heads down, you want to be a peculiar thing unto the Most High Yahweh, our power, and keeping your heads up in the clouds, right? You want to stay focused on the things above and not on the things above. You don't war yourself and entangle yourself with the affairs of this life. You're not going to be moved of what you hear on the radio, what you see on TV, or what's going on in the environment, but you're moving circumspectly as a soldier in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Right? This is very, very important to understand. You have to be fully committed in your belief in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Right? He has given us the blueprint, and not to fear those things, but these things are made manifest unto the wicked. Oh, what happened to that person? Why this man? Why this woman? Why this child? Why? Everything is already written on why. You must now believe it. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 10. Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is Hamashiach Yahweh Shai with eternal glory. Don't forget, you're not the only one experiencing these chastisements. You're not the only one going through financial troubles. You're not the only one going through sicknesses. You're not the only one being isolated and alone and carry all these burdens. For you to be resilient and to build up and be fortified as a good soldier should, right? You may not always have the things that you want or need, but it is profitable unto you to establish your patience and to wait on He to redeem you in all things, in all seasons. You might not have, and you can't go murmuring, damn it, it took me forever to blah, 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 and I waited so long, and I feel as though I'm entitled to have this right now, and I'm going without a woman, and whatever. Shut up. Sit silent. He's given you so much time, beautiful time for you to stay locked in, to be fed properly. This current season and time, He's allowing mercy to be bestowed upon a very select few, and this is imperative that you are built up in wisdom, not with things, not with entertainment, not with fulfilling the lust of the flesh, but to stay studious and put this in you. Do not put the Messiah's blood to shame, but with honor. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. Keep your heads up in the clouds, please. Matthew 6, verse 19 and to 21. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth. So simple. I don't have to explain that. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt. This is carnal things. Where thieves can come and take your possessions, and where moths can come and destroy whatever thing you may hold as material wealth. Do not store up these things. Be circumspect on what you are storing up, as they may be profitable unto your flesh, a little provision here, this and that, but don't go beyond those means. We stay within a goodly pasture. Continuing on in verse 19 of Matthew 6, it says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. This is why your head needs to be focused up in the clouds, because we are gathered amongst the angels, collecting a wealth of wisdom and eating from each other, building ourselves up. The brothers are working diligently day in and day out for decades and decades and decades, just for you to come in and get paid the same amount as what they were given, right? You do not deserve any more or any less, but it's your solemn duty now. If you say you're going to commit yourself unto all things, you have made a verbal oath, and it is a contract that you have signed in the heavens, that you should now live in them. and believe in them, and believe what you're saying and what you're being taught. Verse 20, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, that neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. We're being told that we're going to be given a new heart and a new mind, right? A new spirit, refreshed, a second chance, if you will, to now be conformed into the image of Hamashiach Yahushai and not the former image of our old selves. And we are coming out of the ways of the world and putting on kingdom-like mindset, characteristics. The hopeful elect is. This is our chief desires, to be redeemed, that hopeful elect, and given first dominion. Nothing else will satisfy. Right? So keep your heads up in the clouds. Look up and be watchful. We're going to go to St. John, the book of St. John. There's a lot of things transpiring. There's a wealth of wisdom being presented to you for you to gobble up and store up for yourselves the wisdom and treasures in heaven. These are the wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times. Isaiah 33:6. We're going to St. John chapter 3, verses 12. Where is it at? 12 to 14. It says, jump up, 11. St. John chapter 3 and 11. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness. If I have told you earthly things, and you believe them not, how shall ye believe? And if I tell you of heavenly things, you cannot receive the wisdom that's being expounded unto you. Some of you cannot, because they are too far out of the realm of possibility, because you lack the understanding and belief and trust in the Most High Yahweh, our power. When things are being presented to you, sound doctrine according to the scriptures, and you say, I don't believe, you are a naysayer, you are a scoffer, you are a mocker, you believe that you're being lied to, you stand on a foundation that is not of sound wisdom, but of the wisdom that comes from the world. You cannot be told the heavenly things, because you do not even believe the earthly things that we tell you. This is what's being said here. And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that come down from heaven, even the Son of Man, which is in heaven. And Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Right? We are going to be lifting up that banner. We're going to be lifting up the names of Yahweh Yahushai. We're going to be lifting up prophecy. This is our banner. We're not going to be proclaiming all these false ideologies and wayward doctrines from the outside world, but this temple here is sanctified, holy, and clean. Nothing comes into any of these gates that is going to cause our sheep to stumble, but it will be met with severe judgment according to the scripture. He says all vengeance is his. Be mindful when you come into this temple of what you say and how you speak and your disbelief, because it will not be a snare unto the prophets, but it will be a snare unto you. Promise you that. That's a fair warning. Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, 39. Come on. Heads up in the clouds, right? Keep your heads up in the clouds. Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, starting at verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. This is where your head should be at. Being locked in with your heads up in the clouds and what is being said and allotted for you to establish your faith in. The prophecies, the ministry, all these things come with major monumental gifts, the breakdowns, pure understanding. others aren't receiving that. They're not having their faith built up in truth. They're going to be confounded. They're going to lack a lot of faith. They're going to stumble. They're going to have trust in chariots and horses. They're going to lean on Egypt because their lamps is not producing the accurate amount of oil that they need to stay lit. Ecclesiasticus 39 verse 2. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. When you come to the classroom, you're not going to be asking a bunch of questions. You're going to sit and take notes, meditate on them, proof check, make sure all things make sense. This is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be now glued and tied to where subtle parables are. This is where you will make your attendance. Continuing on in Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, verse 3. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. He will serve among great men and appear before princes. Salakia. He will travel through strange countries, for he hath tried the good and the evil among men. You will have a heightened sense of discernment. You're going to be able to see spirits on the person. Women, men, children. Prophecy and wisdom is going to enlighten you to be able to see those things. Your sword is going to be able to cut that spirit asunder and divide what is truly embedded in that. He says, Hamashiach Yahushua knew their thoughts. He knew that they conspired behind his back and behind walls. Why? Because he was very wise and very attentive to the spirits. Those that are operating in the spirit, all these things are plain. Those that are still in their flesh and have iniquity and sin still embedded in them, they're not given this opportunity. They're not given these gifts. Verse 5 of Ecclesiasticus chapter 39. He will give his heart to resort early, not after, but early, to Yahweh that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplications for his sins. You're going to want to make yourself chaste and clean, spotless, right? So keep your head up in the clouds. Continue to stay locked in to the prophecies and all things that were written aforetime for your understanding, so your faith is built up in these times. With that, I pray that this was edifying to the elect and to water Abanawa Yahweh for another opportunity to put forth edification in any measure. Shalom.